Welcome to
BamBam-O-Rama, BamBam-O-Rama, BamBam-O-Rama.
Welcome to another BamBam-O-Rama podcast. My name is Adrian Estrada,
I'm Jackson Grist.
and we have our very good friend here. I've forgotten your name, so I've stopped.
You had
Just
to make
stopped.
that pause.
Yeah.
It was.
I know it's
there.
Albert, but
Yeah.
Casas?
Casas, yes.
I should have just gone because that's what I had. And
You
I was
had
like,
it. You had it.
Also known as Skar,
Yes, the monster of West Texas.
the monster of West Texas.
what does that mean for you exactly?
It means a lot of things in different ways for me, man. I'm a pro wrestler. I'm a martial artist. So being the monster was something that I earned in the martial art world that developed to me taking it to the wrestling ring, and it was my claim, man. It was my stamp on this place saying, "Hey, this is who I am. West Texas has a monster, and this is him. I'm the guy." So
That's pretty cool. And that is honestly kind of where I wanted to start with your martial arts. Is you started there before you got into wrestling, right?
yes, yes.
What got you interested in martial arts?
Oh man, I do a lot of randomness, man. I'm a big dude, clearly. I push on a good day 330, 335 on a good day. I was actually going to United Market here in town, and the school was opening up. I think it was still Albertsons at the time. I don't know. They got bought out a few times, right? There was a Taekwondo school opening up. Believe they were cleaning the windows when I drove up. I said, "Let me check this out." So I go over, go have a conversation with them. I really wanted it for my wife. I wanted my wife to be able to protect herself. Guns are really nice, but if things go hand to hand, it's just nice to have something.
Absolutely.
And so we both enrolled. We both enrolled, and I took to it, and I loved it. And the next thing I know, I'm teaching classes and bonding with the masters of the school, and we just went from there. So it was a great moment for me. It was
Can we ask?
serendipitous.
Can we ask the name of the? It's Dojang in
Yes,
Taekwondo,
Dojang
right?
in Taekwondo. It's a Youngin Lee's martial arts here in Midland, Texas. Master Lee is
go.
our main master there.
You want to know a funny story? Because we saw you in Odessa at the Rampage.
Mhm.
I think that was in October.
Yes, yes.
I took my son literally 1 to 2 weeks before we saw you and met you to Young and Lee's Taekwondo.
There you
We are
go.
now currently enrolled,
a
and I
great
love
school.
it. He loves it.
It's a
I
great
love
school.
it. And
They're
so
great
we really
people.
enjoy it.
They're great schools. They really care for the students. Like I said, I trained people there for probably about 8 years,
Mhm.
and then I took a step away. So it's kind of fun now because I'm coming back, and people are like, "Who is that dude?"
Right.
And Taekwondo is not built for somebody like me. That's not a martial art that's built for this. So,
Right.
so the, they look at me and they're like, "Oh, he's gonna gas out. He's gonna wind out." And there is only pressure. There's only pressure for this guy right here. So that's my world. I was a power breaker for Master Lee, and that's what we did. So
Nice.
it's fun to come back and see some of my students that they've been waiting on me to come back.
Mhm.
Some of them are teaching the class now, which makes me so proud. Some are they've never seen me a day in my life, and they are like, "What is that just walked in? Like, what in the world is that?"
The monster of
The
West
monster
Texas.
of West
That's what it
Texas
is.
just walked in.
Right?
Yep, that's it.
That's
it.
cool. And so my son was at that wrestling event too. And so I can't remember when it was, but after, one day we pulled up to Taekwondo studio and my son goes out of randomly, he goes, Skar does Taekwondo. Because you mentioned it in the promo you cut.
Yep.
And I said, yeah. And he said, that's crazy. And we do Taekwondo. And I said, yeah, guess where Skar went? Because you brought it up in that promo.
Yep.
I said, guess where he went? And he goes, where? I said, right here.
Yep.
Where we're going.
I'm on the wall. I'm actually on the wall. I was one of the first black belts that Master Lee made in Midland, Texas.
That's awesome.
And so if he
That's cool.
goes and looks at the wall up there with all our pictures and stuff, he'll actually see my face. I don't think my hair is as long, and I think I just have a goatee back then.
I think I know the picture.
Yep, but I'm up there. I'm up there. Yep.
Did you study any other martial arts? Is Taekwondo the?
So I'm currently with Aguila Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay.
There's an awesome guy, and I know him as Cyril. Other guys, uh, they call him CJ, but he's an amazing Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy. I started up with them. So that's going to be really my second official style of learning martial arts. It's a great school, another gem in Midland, Texas that you can find that's just setting the bar high. So yeah, little grappling, a little striking, a lot of size.
Well, that's the important thing, and I think, I could be wrong, because I don't follow MMA that much. Rogan, I think, did both taekwondo and Brazilian
Yeah,
jiu-jitsu. A few of the guys do.
yeah. Taekwondo is it's an older art, right? So
Mhm.
it got popular, and you got to be careful about who you're getting trained by, because some
Right.
people are kind of a McDojo and they're just teaching you to like check mark boxes, and you run across that,
It happens
and
a lot,
yeah, and
yeah.
then you get traditional styles, and then you have two different styles of taekwondo, and then Brazilian jiu-jitsu is really taken the MMA world by storm. When you
Mhm.
really think about what Gracie did and everything, people didn't know what to do there. They
Right.
had no clue how to fight this guy who wants to go on the ground. Now you were raised all your life, don't go on the ground.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
and then this guy's like, hey, come get me. So you wound up with guys who can wrap you up and wrestle and tap you out, and then you look at a school like the one that me and your son go to, that's teaching hapkido, which is joint manipulation and
Mhm.
locks, along with taekwondo. So it bridges the gap for them. You run across that in different walks of life. Striking is an important thing in
Right.
my, especially in the cage. If you're going to be in the cage, you probably should know how to throw some hands.
I agree. That's another thing I found really interesting, because I did taekwondo back when I was, like, 12, I think. I don't remember being a 12-year-old. I did it for, like, 2 years, and then being a child in West Texas, I got distracted by something else, probably
Oh,
football, I don't
yep,
know.
yep.
But I remember when I took it back then, it was 100% about,
Getting chicks.
getting chicks. No,
That's why we
uh,
do anything.
no, it was about, you said it a minute ago. What was it called? Self-defense. It
Self-defense.
was 100% about self-defense. Now, I'm in there and I hear our instructors say things like, "If you're fighting in MMA, if you're against a guy that wants to grapple," and I'm like, "Oh, the school of thought has changed."
It's had to, I think,
Yeah.
because so many places, so many people have picked up the basics, I think. My
Mhm.
my theory is that there's so many basics out there that people have managed to pick up, that self-defense isn't just self-defense anymore. It's not
Right.
just, oh, this guy who randomly throws a punch or something along those lines. This guy might have training. This guy
Mhm.
might have gone 6 months to a BJJ school, or he might have gotten a red belt in taekwondo and then didn't like being pushed anymore, or you never know what the story is with the other person. So
Right.
self-defense has almost become its own form of like MMA when you really think about it, because so many more people are comfortable with going to the ground, and now you're in a real fight. Now you're in something that's not what we used to grow up with.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a more hostile environment.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, somebody grabs you and pulls guard, and now you're on the floor and you don't even know what just happened, and all you want to do was go and stop at the bar and get a beer, you know?
Right, yeah.
So
Oh god, I don't know how many stories we have about that. I mentioned before we started, we used to be entertainment DJs at bars. I don't know how many times we'd be either just hanging out or doing our job. Some motherfucker wants to throw hands with us. We never did.
yeah.
I mean, there was one instance, but we were off the clock that day. But yeah, I was like, I don't understand. Like, we're here to have a good time. I don't know why you want to interrupt my beer with shit talking
Liquid
fists. Like,
courage.
yeah, I don't know.
Liquid courage can do some weird things to people,
It's
man.
exhausting though. You went all the way to black belt with taekwondo. What level?
I'm a
Black
second
belt.
degree.
Second degree.
I'm a second degree, and I'm hoping to get my third next year.
Okay.
So I took, like I said, I took a 4-year hiatus from martial arts to be with my daughter.
Hmm.
And then I came back. So now she's actually doing it with me. My wife doesn't do it
Nice.
with me, but my daughter does. So now
That's
you got
cool.
as she calls herself, little Skar running
Little
around,
Skar.
um,
That's awesome.
being a adorable little Terminator with a bow on her head. So,
That's great.
but yeah, I'm going after my third degree there, and I'm a very happy white belt in
In
BJJ.
BJJ.
That's the hardest belt to ever get, is the white belt, because you have to start. The
Oh, really?
hardest thing to
Oh,
do
yeah.
is
Oh,
start.
I get you.
The
I
hardest thing to
understand.
do is start. So the black belt is earned and everything else, but the hardest thing in martial arts is to start.
I
And
agree.
so that's why, to me, the white belt is the hardest thing, because you've officially started your
Makes
journey.
sense. What's the goal with BJJ? Are you going all the way to black?
You know what, man? I am just enjoying it.
Just enjoying
I'm
it?
enjoying it. Like I said, it's a great school. Cyril's a wonderful coach. He's just amazing. Buddy of mine, and actually during the show, that's the shirt. The eagle on my chest is the emblem for the school. He is just fantastic. So right now, I'm just trying to see what I have in the world of BJJ, learn some stuff, and we'll go from there. You know, tournament here,
Yeah.
tournament there. Let's go for it. Like we'll see what I'm able to do.
There we go.
So
And one thing we're gonna do, I'm gonna reach out to those schools, make sure it's okay, but we'll put links to their websites in the description,
oh,
so
absolutely,
y'all can come check them out. And if martial arts is something you're interested in,
absolutely. I think everybody should do a little bit of something.
yeah,
It's a balancing thing. It mellows people out, teaches discipline. Why we don't teach it in the public school system is beyond me.
I agree. They do in the
Other
Asian countries,
countries, yeah,
in other
other
countries, right?
countries, and they, you know, it is what it is. But to me, everybody should take a walk in that realm. Y'all mentioned to me about art, right? This whole
Mhm.
podcast is about sharing arts. Well, martial arts is just that. You're just
Absolutely.
your art form is violence. Your art form is violence.
And that's kind of the question I wanted to go through with highlighting that it is an art. What is it about martial arts in particular that was the actual draw that keeps you there and that you would recommend for other people specifically?
Yeah. I'm not wired right in the head. No, no, no. Uh, Honestly, discipline was something that I was raised with. My dad was he. I don't even know how old I was. The Webster Dictionary for discipline is strict self-control to enforce obedience. That was something put into me as a young child because my dad wanted me to know what that meant, not just hey, it's a word and don't just use the word. Everything he taught me was to know. So when I got a chance to join martial arts and gain discipline, now I'm really understanding. Now I'm really understanding what it was. I'm not just watching John Claude Van Damme on TV, right? Now I'm like, I know some people who can do that.
Yeah.
Right.
I know some people, right? So to me, why it's that way, I personally I crave that exertion. I crave that trial, that push, that taking your body a little bit further to the limit, that new step you can take, the breaking of the boards, the breaking of the competitions. These things are something I crave. I haven't gotten old enough to where I don't crave it yet, so I still do it. So it's one of those. I tell the students too when they earn their black belts, it's something no one else can do for you, especially young kids.
Mhm.
They no one, mommy and daddy can't go earn that belt for you on those mats.
No.
This is something you've earned, and you take it with you and you earn it. So to me, it's a lot of self gratification for yourself to prove what you can do and to test your body every day. I mean, you would look at me, big old boy. I You would not expect me to be able to throw a tornado kick, and it might be a big slow tornado kick, boy.
But it gets around.
But it gets around, and you would not expect it, and or the closing speed I might carry.
Yeah, it's probably not too
sometimes. Yeah.
comfortable to catch to any part of your
Yeah,
body.
it's probably not. Yeah, yeah. It's one of those you don't expect certain things.
Sure.
But when I do it,
Yeah.
it's like, whoa, that
Right.
dude. And especially for myself, it's like, whoa, you did it. And I do it like the wrestling and everything is for the kids. I like to set examples for them. You're only limited by your own mind. And so you press forward.
Do you ever attempt any other practices of art, whether it's music or painting or anything?
It's funny you say that. I'm a horrible painter. I can barely write my own name. I think my kid's catching up to me. So
Same way over here.
yeah, I am. I should just do an X for my signature because it is ugly.
My mom used to say, because there was this school of thought that said that people with bad handwriting were some of the smartest people out there, and my mom was like, "My son is going to be a brain surgeon."
Yep.
My
Yep.
handwriting is so bad.
That's where I am at too. I'm with you on that. But music. I'm actually I play saxophone. So
Nice.
I once again another thing that I put away. I do a lot of stuff that I put away and then I come back to. So like that's why I was looking around the room earlier, looking at the guitars and all the fun stuff. But music, I learned saxophone under a great band director in Fort Stockton named Mark Santos. Phenomenal saxophone guy. I was blessed to have him in my life, and I played music. I still have my tenor sax. I was just telling my wife, hey, I need to start pulling this back out and playing. So yeah, music is the other non-violent art that I would probably say I do.
So you say you're coming back to it. Is there anything that anybody can go hunt down?
No, I never really did. I mean, it was all high school band stuff and
Yeah.
and jazz band, and I played in a Tejano band when I first got up here. They wanted to continue on and quit jobs, and I was like, dude, I'm like 19.
Yeah.
I probably should get my stuff together, right?
Mhm.
And so I didn't go after that, but yeah, there's nothing that anybody can really look or find or anything like that. It's more of a dabble. Maybe one day I'll get good enough where I can do something like that, but
Yeah.
until that moment, it's just one of those. It's a calming thing to be able to create
So
something that
I have a
way.
question. You need any help with your saxophone? Would you like a music stand?
I will take
I
it.
for some reason have 5, and I'm not even joking. I will give you one
Yeah,
of
I
these.
will take a music stand, man, because that's surprisingly I don't have that. I did it. I would grab tape, put the tape up on something, and play the music, man.
Right.
I didn't have another way.
There you go. We were
There we
just talking
go.
about he stole those
I did
from
not steal them.
from
At
the
least
poor
not on
children.
purpose. I don't know where they came from.
No,
I don't.
he's
I have
had
not
them
bought
for a
one of
while.
these, and I have 5 of them for some reason.
They
I'm
like
not-
you. They
I
like you.
guess,
They just
yeah.
keep them coming back.
They just had babies.
They're multiplying.
I don't
You're gonna
know.
separate a family to give one to Skar. Like,
Right.
And then when one dies, you're gonna be real upset.
yeah, you're gonna be so sad. I'll have to send him pictures of how his stand is growing.
God,
so
I hope
good.
you just randomly just let this, go away, and then a year from now you get one of those like little miniature ones.
Yeah.
You just send some. Hey, I just thought I'd remind you guys.
The long
Update.
game on that would be so
Yeah.
good.
I'm just gonna update you. Here's just the Christmas newsletter.
Oh my
from your
God, they just
stand.
keep coming.
Yeah.
There's 6 in the
Why do
litter.
they keep doing this? I don't know.
Oh, it'd be beautiful. So, kind of moving forward with some of that transferring into art, because while I'm sure it's way more directly transferable, you now practice more currently, or I guess more consistently right now. You're wrestling.
Yes. Wrestling, Taekwondo, and BJJ. They are what I do. And so I think why my heart wants to go back to music is because you're creating something. In the other worlds, beside wrestling, wrestling is an art of entertainment and creation, but it's
Right.
still a violent art.
Sure.
Yeah.
You're a destroyer. Your art is destruction. And so to be able to create something with music that people don't have to, oh,
Right.
that is I think that's something that itches at me still to a little bit. But yeah, the wrestling is a big part of what I do. It keeps me very busy.
When it comes to wrestling, where did you come up with that actual, first calling?
Once again, it's a random thing. I actually went to a Comic-Con here in Midland, and Kevin
Mhm.
Nash was there. Fred Urban was the guy who
I
who
didn't
did
know
that.
Kevin Nash was at one of our Comic Cons.
Yep. Yeah, it was a long, like 2016 or 17, something like that.
I would have gone
And
to that.
and that's why I went.
Yeah.
I now I go visit the Comic Cons because everybody's kind of a nerd, right? We're all
Right.
kind of marks for something.
Right.
And I went because I wanted an autograph with Kevin Nash. And at the time, I looked like his WWE name was Rusev. I was growing my hair out, and I looked
Yeah.
like I could have been his brother.
Miro currently on
Miro, yeah,
AEW.
AEW,
Mhm.
Miro. I looked like it could have been his brother back then. Same goatee. I was growing
That's
my hair
funny.
out. When took a picture, and some of the wrestlers started chatting with me. Then Fred Urban, God rest his soul, great man and very important to West Texas wrestling. He started talking to me, invites me to a show, and so then I show up, and I'm just loving being able to see a live show.
Oh yeah.
He starts talking to me, and he gets me in the ring, and then we start training, and next thing I know, hey man, we want you to go. You're ready. Let's do it. Let's put you in a ring and put you in front of a crowd. And I just kept rolling. I just kept going, and it was one of those bucket list items. I wish I could say oh man, I wanted to do this because of this and that and this. I had a chance. I had a
Yeah.
chance to do it, and I wasn't gonna turn it away. Like, hey, go for it.
Is there an acting bug in there too, or is it just because of the love for wrestling?
There probably is an acting bug. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I like being the center of attention. You can't do some of the things that I do and not and have done some of the things I do and not have somewhat of an ego.
Yep.
But I've never tried acting. I've never dabbled in it. The entertainment part that is it is just as fun to me to do that or shoot a promo or draw a crowd into this moment than the actual hey super kick me right in the face today. Like I want you to lay it in. Those moments are cool too because the crowd's you'll hear it. You'll hear the I'm gonna chop you. That sound that's great. But that moment where the crowd is like We love you, Skar. We
Oh,
hate
yeah.
you, Skar. We're throwing stuff in the ring at you, Skar. That's the acting part. That's the
Right.
theatric part, I guess you could say.
So you bring up the "we love you" and the "we hate you" Scar. You've gone back and forth between being a face and a heel.
At Rampage, I have. I'm
Rampage.
primarily a heel because I'm good at it.
I've heard it. I've heard it's fun to be a heel.
It is. It's fun. I really like being a heel. I really like it's a counterpart to who I am on a daily basis. So
Yeah.
Scar is a good heel. He doesn't really care much. It is fun to be a heel. You can get away with a lot more. You can talk your mess. You have a lot less rules
Right.
on you.
Well, dude, it's crazy to me in the wrestling world. People when they're in their heel persona, because a lot of professional wrestlers go back and forth between baby faces and heels. The shit that they will say on TV and the shit they
Oh,
will
yeah.
say to the crowd. If one of us said that on a podcast where we're sitting here being real people, we'd be canceled.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
But they're acting and they say these terrible things.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The great thing is sometimes you're not acting.
Well, yeah, there's that too.
The way I kind of run things is and I've kind of made a running joke, it is what it is, but Scar is the same person whether he is a good guy or a bad guy. It's just who's getting beat. Either the crowd's rooting for me because they want to see me get my hands on this guy they just can't stand him. And all my attention is going to be pointed at this one person, or Scar's beating up your favorite guy and everybody can catch these hands. Everybody's going to get this attention.
I think that's the best way to do it, to build your character, where it kind of is, it's the same character no matter what. But, depending on who your opponent is, makes you the face or the heel. I think that's the best way to do it. I think, not to bring up the other productions, but I feel like, my favorites in both AEW and WWE are kind of doing that. I feel like Seth Rollins is that right now.
Yeah.
And I think MJF is that.
It's
always.
Yeah. It is one of those, I think certain people are built to do that. Where I leaned into that was can't walk around and call myself a monster and then be a good guy. Right.
Right.
And so then I'm gonna shake hands and take pictures by completely changing who I am. So when you look back at the old era, the Attitude Era, and you look back at Kane, he was a good guy.
Yeah.
There was times where he didn't change much.
No.
He was still the guy you kind of knew he could change. You kind of knew he was going to turn on somebody. But you were hoping not tonight. You were hoping not tonight.
Yeah.
You were hoping not while he was in the ring with this guy. And to me, those were, like, when I look back at the guys I like looking at, they were all these big dudes. They were these monster guys. You always knew it was in them. Even when they were being nice, even they were being the good guy making the save or whatever, you always knew there was this little part of them that could turn just like that.
Yeah.
And then once it's done, boy, you're like, I still rooted for him. I didn't care.
Oh yeah. I did. I mean, for the longest time, I would get wrapped up on who's the good guy and who's the bad guy, and in wrestling, and I still do. For the longest time, like a heel walks out, and I'm like, man, fuck this guy, I hate him, da da da. But then I realize I'm like, oh, I hate him because of how good of a job he's doing.
You hate him because,
and that makes me love him.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that's that. I grew up loving Andy Kaufman as a comedian for that
Yeah.
same principle.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He was so good at making everyone hate him. I
He
loved
really
it.
was.
And
He
I
really was.
unfortunately emulated the shit out of it.
Hey, you know what?
But I'm still having fun.
As an adult, it's good to be a heel. As a kid, not so much.
Right.
People don't quite understand that as much.
So you brought up Kane before we started the interview. We talked about Undertaker. Who's your favorite wrestler?
Oh man, it depends on the day.
I get that.
I've always been a Mark Henry fan. I love Mark Henry and watching him and the work he did when he was just fantastic. He was. I remember watching him when he was powerlifting. I saw this dude powerlifting, and now he's a wrestler, and I'm like, whoa! He transitioned. Scott Steiner. As you can tell by my list, it's all bruisers. It's Big Van Vader, Boss Man, Haku. The list of great people to me is just so long. You could go to who's my favorite talker, Stone Cold, The Rock. Of course, everybody wants to be Brock Lesnar. Everybody wants to be Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar has it easy. Not talking shit. He's usually got Paul Heyman to do the talking for him.
Yeah.
And then he goes out there and beats the shit out of the other guy.
That is like that he built that.
Yeah.
He built that. And some of his best stuff is actually without Paul.
I agree.
And he's fantastic, but he's Brock, he's the beast.
Oh yeah.
And so the guys I always were, to this day, Bronson Reed, I have to watch a Bronson Reed match. I don't care. Like, he's, to me, the what a monster, what a big man is supposed to be, still being done today. And so when I see a Bronson Reed match, I'm like, this guy, he still got it. He still understands it. He still gets, he's out there, he's beating people up, he's doing the thing, the way he carries himself. I'm drawn to those. What did Big E say? Big meaty men slapping meat.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
that's what I'm like, man, that's what I want. I want to see hit people decking people.
Yep.
That's what I want.
Speaking of being little and drawing in, what's something you give to advice for somebody that may be out there a little timid to break out of the shell, to be vulnerable and start doing this as maybe a youngster outside? You know what I mean?
Okay. Wrestling,
Yeah.
it's gonna hurt. I
Yeah.
warn them, it's gonna hurt. I've damaged my body more in the wrestling ring than I have done it doing anything else. And if you really want to do this, listen.
Mhm.
Listen to your veterans. Listen to your promoter, your coach. Be a student of the game. When you stop being a student of the game, you are done. Walk away.
Did we ask, is there a place here to train for the wrestling part?
There's not here in Midland. I believe there is a lucha place in Odessa.
Oh,
And I
really?
don't know the name of them. Rampage Wrestling is in Lubbock, and
Okay.
that's the show we saw where he coaches, he trains. Eric Grayson is a phenomenal trainer.
Right.
He is, once again, a student of the game. He listens to the history. He studies old film. He brings it to the guys. It's amazing what he will put together and train.
We've really enjoyed working with him.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's been fun.
Yeah, he is. He's doing some great stuff and really churning out some good young talent. Some safe, good, and really talented guys are coming out from his school.
That's awesome. And we have actually gotten a chance to interview him. We'll link that one in the description as well. Y'all go check that interview out after you're done listening to.
So normally we do something called weaseling, which is just our way of trying to weasel our way into your business, or we try to get you to do something with us, you know? What I was going to ask, because we've already talked to Mr. Grayson about getting him over there and training him.
Yeah.
But that's really far to go train somebody that has a kid, as you well know, having, kids yourself.
I try to do it on the Saturdays, man.
You go, hey,
They
this
do
is-
it on Saturdays?
Yes, you wake up
Okay.
early and you go and you train and you're back by afternoon. And
Oh,
you're
really?
back by, we can carpool there together. We can go.
Yes.
You gotta be careful with me. I'll take excuses away real quick. But
So-
no,
No.
you go, you do it, you train. Carpooling is a thing that we do,
Yeah.
in the wrestling world. So you pitch in gas, somebody drives, you get back. I try to get back around 2 every day.
So yeah, if you don't mind, if can we tag him along with you every
Yeah.
now and then?
Yeah.
Just hit me up.
Let me know.
Hit
And
me
I'll
up.
hit you up. You hit me up. I can only go on the weekends I don't have my son.
Yeah.
But which I know is a pain in the ass, but if I don't have him,
Hey.
if we don't have plans, I'm in that car with you,
Yeah,
man.
shoot me a message, man, and we can figure something out. We'll get
All right.
Grayson in on the message, and I'm sure we can figure something out.
Maybe he can even try to develop a regimen. Do you have a regimen that you do at home without a ring and
Um,
stuff?
I try, like everybody else, dads, right? Like,
Right, yeah.
you get dad bod,
Mhm.
and then you start doing things. I'm really good at picking heavy things up and putting them down over and over and over and over,
There you
and
go.
that's really it. But yeah, regimen. I've done Body Spartan. Gabby Tuft, used to be known as Gabe Tuft, was my coach for a long time. She's a wonderful person, great trainer. Used to be in WWE.
Oh, really?
And then I do a lot of DDP yoga.
I've thought about
especially when-
checking out DDP yoga.
Yes.
Is it good?
I actually can tell when my body's doing it and when it's not.
Wow. Okay.
It keeps me a lot more limber. It keeps me moving. Yoga is one of those things that, like,
Yeah.
I'm a dude. I can't. No. It's look. I want to be able to move. I can tell the difference. And then other than that, on my regimen, you can go to here in Midland. If y'all want to make a trip down to Midland, Dr. Whitehead has been piecing me together for the past year.
There you go.
And my wife she's an MAT specialist, the only one in town that only one for 6 hours actually, that constantly has to put me back together. The world of wrestling, yes, you need to be athletic. Yes, you need to get, in shape. You need to be ready to run the ropes. You need to be ready to do all these things. I'm also trained Taekwondo and BJJ, but you need to figure a way to keep your body going. You got to
Mhm.
figure a way to keep it on the road, and those were the methods I've used so far.
Yeah,
There you go.
definitely believe in the chiropractic and all that myself.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing one soon for
Oh, there you
the
go.
same back rub. Yeah.
I got a guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna look into Whitehead, you said, right?
Yes, Dr. Whitehead.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic guy. He's one of the sponsors for the Rampage show.
Oh,
Um, Permian Basin Muscle Activation. That's my wife's business. She was a sponsor as well. So,
Nice.
but these are both places. One, he deals with the chiropractor world. She deals with the muscles, and I am. They both know I'm going to tear myself up before I probably go to sleep. So
yeah.
they're just stuck with it, and they understand. They understand.
I'm like, ah, well, at least he's still here.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much, pretty much.
I was gonna say I've been curious about DDP yoga. I remember someone saying that DDP has been in the best shape of his life since he started it, and I was like, I don't know if that's true or not, or if that's just a thing to sell the product. But I wanted to check it out.
You know what? I really do feel it's a good product. I
Mhm.
feel like I like it because I can do it at home.
Yeah.
It's on my phone. I can plug in a Bluetooth, watch TV while I watch Monday Night Raw, and get a workout done. Um, I do other workouts too as well, but I try to
Right.
do. I know when my body's operating right when I'm actually doing DDP yoga for long term, and I'm more flexible. I move better. I'm in less pain.
Right.
It does have. It sounds like a commercial for Hey Diamond
Hey.
Dallas Page, shoot me up. But
Yeah.
no, it
We'd like
sounds
to
like a
have y'all
commercial.
on the
Yeah, hey, come on.
podcast.
But it does sound like a commercial for it. But that should tell you how much I actually believe that it does
I
work.
like hearing stuff like that
So
though. So with how do you balance your yoga training and your strength training, or do you just do them both in the same day?
I just do them both in the same day. If I
That
wake
makes
up,
sense.
with a kid, right? But
Yeah.
if I wake up early enough, I'm probably starting my day off with yoga,
I've
and
heard that that's what you should do.
it's nice. You do feel better,
Well,
and
stretching in general in the morning is
yeah,
nice too.
it
Yeah.
just helps. It just helps, and you wake up with the scar tissue, and you're moving
Yeah.
around, and you're better set for the day. And I am not good at waking up and hitting the weights. I've tried. It's just not something I need a few hours to kind of get going.
I
So
gotcha.
normally by the afternoon, okay, now I'm ready to hit weights hard. You take a good pre-workout, get in there,
Hmm.
hit that, hit the heavy bag, whatever. When I'm going really good with DDP, I might actually do a closeout session at the end of the night, and it's easy. My
Nice.
kid does it with me.
Nice.
I say it's easy. It's as easy as you make it,
I
right? But
mean, yeah, yoga's nice because it does have levels you can modify to.
yes,
That's one of the nice things about it. Yes, there's advanced movements, but there's also modifications for most of those advanced
yes,
movements
I
too.
think
Anybody can
you're
do them.
looking at a Kama Sutra.
Oh,
yeah. That's
You need
it's
to.
in the same ballpark.
yeah, that's
It's
fine.
kind
That's
of
fine.
it's all about it's all about flexibility when you think
My
about
balls
it.
are in a different park. When
The hardest part about the brain is that, to me, my theory on it, right? The hardest part about the brain is it wants to pull you out of a discomfort.
Hmm.
So you once you learn where discomfort is versus your actual limit, that's when you start moving the limit.
Hmm.
So okay, right now my body tells me I can do 30 seconds in a cold shower, but that was just discomfort.
Yeah.
You weren't shutting down. Things weren't, in your brain, you're like, I can do a minute.
I think a lot of that mentality and that conceptualization of in mantra is more found in people that are willing to accept the chiropractors, the yogas, the uh, collagen
Yeah,
peptides,
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
because we are all so stigmatized by the term snake oils, which is
Oh
now
yeah,
Right.
fondly being rebranded as essential oils,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Hmm.
Uh, and even for me, I have THC as a medication now, where people are still scoffing at that, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
how could that be
Oh,
medication?
well, we were raised DARE program.
Right. Yeah.
So so you had mentioned that your wife's business is muscle activation.
Yes,
Now
yes,
that's a little bit different for the average American's
yes,
conversation.
yes. It's actually super interesting. Most people don't know what she does until you get in there and you actually get worked on. But
Right.
she's actually activating muscle tissue that is offline or damaged,
Wow.
inflamed. She does it without opening you up, and she finds out what's failing. Greg Roscoff is the founder of this, and I think he's the head trainer or a trainer for the Denver Broncos.
Oh,
So
There we go.
he is a fantastic. He has a podcast. He has a fantastic. He's created something interesting, and it's still fairly new in the world,
right.
but it works. And I think that's one of our problems here, especially in the Western world, as they like to call it, right?
Mhm.
We don't like to think that things work if it doesn't come from a script, right? Like
Well,
a prescription. If I am sitting here and I understand that my human body should be able to do more, what is the limitation and how do I break it?
Right.
I will become obsessed with wanting to break it.
So, in a manner of speaking, if you're truly trying to strive for your best form, you should be willing to try new things to expand.
Oh yeah. I think David Goggins is one of the most obsessed people on this planet. And I'm not saying be obsessed like him, but maybe you should. Maybe we should all be a little bit more obsessed like him. But he is insanely obsessed about what he's going to do, to the point of it engulfs his nature.
Yeah.
But what's wrong with that?
Oh yeah.
What could happen if we let that happen more often? You know, we're talking about music, we're talking about art. Those people back then didn't get that. They didn't have YouTube, Netflix, Disney Plus, right? They didn't have all these things. They were engulfed by their nature. And look at the strides we made.
Mm-hmm.
So the people who want to break those discomfort levels and take that next step and actually ascend to another level, yeah, they're gonna do. You tell me, hey man, I can go see this guy. He's gonna pop my back in, and I'm great. My hips aren't gonna hurt, at least for 3 days. You know how much work I can get into for 3 days without pain? Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's
Yep.
go.
That's what we're talking about, bringing a lot of these ideas to the Western world. And you brought up the Denver Broncos. On the other side of the country, we have Aaron Rodgers,
Yeah.
who might actually return from an Achilles tear in 6 months.
Well, you know,
That's
Freaking, how old is he?
yeah, like
48?
Hey.
this all blows my mind. I'm like, when it dropped, and I know this episode airs after his potential return, so
I hope he does great.
I hope he does. I hope
I'm-
so.
I am not a Jets fan, but I hope that dude comes and runs the table.
Dude,
Yeah.
I do too, and if he's able to come back after 6 months on an injury that usually keeps anyone out in their best shape for a year,
Oh yeah.
that's gonna change the world. I feel like
everybody should
you
do
gotta
whatever
pay
his
attention to
protocol
it.
is.
Like,
I guarantee you the charges for ayahuasca and,
Right.
and shrooms
Yeah.
and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff goes up out the roof.
For
Oh
real.
yeah. Let that dude teach class on it.
Right.
Like at that point, just
And
let him be.
I'm gonna be one of them.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, it is what it is, man.
Right.
If I can find out that it's gonna fix me too, I'm like, hey, let's sign me up. Where can we
Yep.
get it?
Yeah, I am interested in mycelium and all the
Oh, yeah.
cordyceps in general. So I'm gonna get some of the. I'm not gonna get the. Have you seen the Rise coffee and all those?
Yes. I've seen
Cordyceps
Rise
coffee.
coffee.
Yeah.
I've done the Athletic Greens.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
I do Athletic
Yep,
Greens.
the Athletic Greens does work. You feel better. You know, it
Yeah.
has
Probably.
some good stuff in it.
Although Athletic Greens, y'all sponsors podcasts. We need sponsors.
Yes, get these guys going.
Yeah.
Like, set them up. Come on.
Yeah. I use it.
Yeah, you got a lot of people using it. Come
Right.
on, help these guys out here.
Maybe we could forward it to the Rampage folks,
Right.
and it's
That's-
just everybody
I'm just
wins.
saying.
There
I'm
we
just
go.
saying.
There we
We're
go.
willing to spread the wealth.
Yes.
I'm shooting
Yeah.
out commercials here. What
Yeah.
else? What you got?
Right.
What other products do
Yeah.
we want? But no, I'm going to be trying some of that soon. But I just wanted to kind of circle back to that opening because it still baffles me that we are in the world where people are afraid of CBD, are afraid of coffee with mushrooms because people use the term cordyceps or
Yeah,
mycelium,
yeah.
are afraid of collagen peptides because that sounds like it might be chlorine or something. And I'm using that as, a fantastical
Yeah,
thing I just
yeah.
made, but
Right.
that's how people are.
Well,
People are afraid of trying yoga, what is
Yeah.
it? I'm sorry, muscle stimulation?
muscle
Is that-
activation.
Activation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because I need to go look at that.
I do
Yes.
too.
More.
I'm
I need to go
interested too.
try it because I've got some atrophy remnants,
Oh
for-
yeah.
That's exactly what I need.
Oh, she. We'll talk, and I'll
Exactly.
get you all set up.
But to me it's important to spread that kind of information because just like arts, it's all about discipline. You also have to have the discipline within the protection of your body to practice those, right?
Absolutely. Here's the beautiful thing about the word art. Anything can be art. The
Mhm.
world is art.
Right.
This beautiful planet that we sit on, from being a primitive culture to where we are just hunting and gathering and trying to make a fire. That is art, because you couldn't go and get this animal to feed your family without being good at getting this animal to feed your family. And art is an expression of that. So if you've ever pulled a bow and you've released it, and you've ever gone hunting, you're doing it in your nature, in your way, and you're finding this beautiful way. People, you said it. I think people are afraid. They're afraid of pain. They're afraid to get out of comfort zones. I'm one of them. I'm guilty. I'm guilty. I know it.
They're afraid of embarrassment
They're
too.
afraid of embarrassment. It's one of the hardest things to teach a kid. Is don't be afraid to be embarrassed. Like,
I
it's
know.
okay.
And I think I could be wrong, but I know it's weird how certain emotions do affect us. And there's a part of our brain that registers physical pain. I think that gets triggered when we get embarrassed. I really do. I could be wrong.
I feel like there's a lot of things that could get. I'm sure there's a primitive part somewhere that if y'all got a really smart guy on here to explain it, I'm sure he'd
Yeah.
be like, "Oh, it's a survival mechanism about getting kicked out of the tribe."
Yeah.
Which kind of sounds right if I'm thinking about
Honestly,
it now,
it
right?
makes sense.
But pain is the funny thing about pain is, I thank God every day for pain, because it lets me know I'm still living. It lets me know I'm here. I've lived with it for so long in my life and different remnants that I was thankful for it. Like, I turned it into something to be happy for. Pain is such an off-putting. We've grown a society that's comfortable with not being in pain.
Yeah.
So when you're hit with it, it's a shell shock of a moment. We talked about ice baths. We're talking about ice baths. There's people up in Russia and places that are like, ice bath. What are you talking about? Like, that's just walking outside.
Right? Yeah.
Like, we just walked outside.
I
Like,
want to go do one of those polar bear
oh yeah,
things,
yeah.
No, what is that?
They cut a pool into a ice sheet,
Uh-huh.
and then they get a hot tub or something. You hot tub, and then you jump in the pool.
Yeah, you just go back and forth.
2 years ago, if you told me about that, I'd tell you you're fucking
Go fuck
crazy.
yourself. But right
Now, I do want to try
I
that.
want to go do
There's,
that. Yeah. they
well,
do
there's
it.
things between. There's a lot of people right now. Ice baths are a big thing now. It is the rotation.
Right.
That's the real big thing right now.
They've been doing
Yeah.
that for years. I saw it like in the 90s. They were like,
Yeah.
you guys think you're crazy. Check out these people over here.
Yeah,
It's
you're
the
right.
polar, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now the health.
cult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, come on.
Look at
No, no.
these idiots.
Right.
Yeah, like,
Now the health world's like, do this.
you know
that-
the benefits of
Right,
this? Like,
yeah.
come
And
on.
that reporter's smoking. He's like, go smoke and eat 3 hamburgers.
Yeah, you'll be all right. You'll
These
be all
idiots
right.
over here are
They're-
fixing their bodies.
They're
Right.
freezing.
Yeah.
Like, they're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's all that was. They're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, it's all right. Like, get uncomfortable.
I've
It'll be all
always
right.
wanted to do that though, even though it still seems too cold. I love the cold for the better part. Still seems too cold, but I still want to do it. no matter
Yeah,
what.
you know what, man? I'm one of those, like, other than heights, I ain't doing heights. 'Cause,
I'm afraid of heights.
yeah, I will. I'm not a heights guy.
Well,
And probably like deep sea diving, because I might be built like a hippo, but I'm not good in the sea. So other than those things, you want to try it? Like, yeah, let's go for it.
mhm.
Like, what is this? You want me? How cold is it? Yeah, you know what? I just watched 3 guys get out of there. They didn't die. Yeah, let's go for it. Let's try it. Let me get a whirl. You never know. You might find something that you. I'm sure when y'all were performers, y'all said y'all were in front of crowds and stuff. That first time that y'all were up there, I'm sure y'all were just nervous as all
Oh,
get out,
God, yeah.
and every instinct in you was like, run,
Yeah.
run.
Mhm.
You don't need this life. Run.
My first show playing with the cover band where I was actually really in front of a crowd for the first time. I turned to the side and I had a music stand with the lyrics. And aside from one eye open, I was closed eyed and just reading because I was,
Horrified.
and I still drank back then. I was, oh my
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
you know.
I do it to this day. I walk through the curtain. I can't speak for every wrestler,
Right.
but I walk through the curtain. That moment before I walk through,
Yeah.
I am horrified.
Yeah.
I start thinking, why am I doing this? Why am I here? Do I really want to keep doing this? And then I walk through the curtain, and Skar's in front of that crowd, and he
Right.
is a different, and it's all great from that moment on. But it's that discomfort moment, that moment of discomfort where you got to decide whether you're getting out of the shower or not. Are you going to
Right.
stay in there longer or not? You know?
Makes sense. And I think one of the keys to that too is figuring out how, and I know I've said this on the podcast before, but it is something like we do, you learn how to take that nervous energy. That nervous energy doesn't go away. If you're a sane person, anytime you're about to get on the stage, walk out the curtain and get in the ring, football players, I'm sure you're going to be nervous when you go out there to do that job. The secret is learning how to take that energy and move it to a beneficial area. That's what it is.
Yes, yes. I got to meet Big Van Vader one time,
Oh,
and
awesome.
I watched this guy. I thought he was the coolest. I would walk
Mhm.
around barking like him, right? Vader sign and everything. I thought it was the coolest thing. I didn't get to talk to him very much. We had an interaction that was positive for me. And right before he goes to the curtain, he told me, "When you're not nervous anymore is when you should quit."
Yeah.
And then he goes through that curtain, and I was like, check mark. Okay, I got
Yeah.
it.
Like,
Like this guy's telling me something serious here. Everything else was him. Maybe he watched my match. Maybe he didn't. I don't know for real, right? Like you don't know for sure. Everything else was a great moment, but that was a piece of advice.
mhm,
So
makes sense.
So with that, you had told us right before we had started that Skar is a sophisticated guy.
he is. He is.
With the potential for Skar, where are you going to end up?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Scar's a brute with a brain, man. He's everything that a good super villain would be.
Yeah.
He's the kingpin. He's the guy who's way too smart and way too strong for his own good sometimes.
Are you wanting to end up walking down the AEW? What do you guys call it? I'm sorry, I'm a little out.
Oh no, you're good. You're good, man. That would be wonderful. I'm really like I kind of mentioned, I'm a little long in the tooth, right?
Mm.
So I'm not one of these young guys, and I'm not doing these insane spots and these jumping off a cage and like mad props to these high risk,
Yeah,
guys. It's not me. It's not my style, and it's not who I am, and it's not who I am at this age either. Scar is perfectly happy entertaining West Texas. He is happy with his crowd. He is happy with his people. He is happy with that one little kid that he got to disconnect from reality, that got to enjoy this moment. And that's what got me into wrestling. That's what kept me going. And those were the moments. So I'm never one to say in wrestling, you never say never, right? You never
Right.
say never, but Scar is more than happy to stay in West Texas and stay with Rampage and BCW.
Now, Rampage has 3 championships currently, correct?
Yes, they have 3 championships that you can get as a singles and one tag team champion, which is called the duos. It's their twist on it, and they're releasing another one.
Is
another-
Skar hungry for one of those belts?
Right now, Scar wants revenge. Right now,
Oh.
Scar is after Joshua Hate-Bit or 8-Bit or whatever he calls himself this
I think it is currently hate.
yeah, he's the identity crisis kind of person.
Right.
So he that's all I want. Scar wants to get his hands on him. And once I do that, then it's all free. Once that chapter is put behind me, and that's by putting him into the ring, right? It's all game. It's all game. Every champion needs to watch out because Scar might smile now, and he might shake hands now, and he might even tag with some people. But like I mentioned, it can happen. It's
Right.
just the right moment at the right time.
So do you think 8-Bit will watch this?
I don't know. It's if it's gonna go on some nerdy stream, maybe he will. He should. He should. He might actually learn what it's like to talk like a real man.
Oh. When does that match happen? Is it booked?
No, he's gonna duck and run.
Oh,
He's
okay.
ducking and running. I
Okay.
would duck and run from me too. Look at me.
I mean,
It's he's not the bravest, but he's not an idiot. So he's ducking and running, and he's gonna try to steer clear of me, and that's perfectly fine because everybody gets caught. It's just a matter of time.
And then finally, if we were to run into him by chance, is there anything that we could tell him?
Oh,
to-
just tell him to keep running.
keep running.
That's the only hope
All
he
right.
has. It's the only hope he really has. As long as he's keeping him running, he might avoid me for just long enough that he gets to see another birthday. But if he doesn't, he's gonna run into a monster.
All right.
And he knows what that feels like. He was my tag team partner. He knows what that feels like.
And I guess I should say there is one more thing. We don't want to, we want to be friends with Skar, the guy that's
Everybody kind of wants to be friends
So
with Skar.
we don't want to offend you if we invite 8-Bit on. Is that gonna be a problem?
No. you know what? Good for him.
Okay.
Good for him.
I just want to make sure that we're okay.
Yeah, I
'Cause,
mean,
you know,
maybe you can convince him to get a better haircut.
Never-
Like anything is better for him than what he's doing because he looks ridiculous.
well, yeah, I can't say anything because obviously,
I mean, that's a better
but
haircut.
I
than what he's got.
believe you when you say it because obviously.
I mean,
and that's all I can go by. Significantly better hair. It's really good.
well, thank you. It's
Absolutely.
I try. I don't have to try hard to be this good, but I do try.
We really appreciate you joining us here. Words of wisdom that I think anybody should and could live by. Thank you guys for joining us. Again, here's Skar. We're looking forward to seeing you again.
Or anywhere else you want people to follow you, Instagram, anything like that?
Follow them on Rampage through Facebook, Instagram. You can catch all the shows and all our times. You'll see my wonderful voice talking in promos, outwitting people like 8-Bit. But you can catch us there. I also wrestle for a place called BCW. They wrestle out of Levelland. So you can catch all my stuff there. Skar on Facebook. You can catch me there. That's where my wrestling page is, and you can follow my moniker there. My song "Break 'Em All." It's a good catchphrase. It's a good statement. It's what it is. Mike Ruckus, he created that for me. Fantastic individual. He does a lot of the music for AEW. So he has it on Spotify and Apple iTunes. You can go download it, play it, stream it, wake up to it, so that you can learn what it's like to be Skar for a little bit.
Is it okay if I use that to like be my alarm clock to start my day?
Absolutely, absolutely. I start my
Motivation.
day. I literally start my. If you want to get big and strong and be a monster, the way Skar starts his day is he listens to "Break 'Em All" by Mike Ruckus, and he listens to the Four Horsemen theme song.
Do you think I'll be able to grow up to be as big as?
I mean, if you get going, yeah, we'll get you on a nice regimen. We'll do some push-ups and go break some heavy things and push some cars, and you'll get it. Your hair grow long.
Oh,
you'll grow your hair back.
Okay,
It's like One Punch Man in reverse. You just grow your hair.
I like that.
There we go. I'd like that. So make sure y'all check out. We're gonna link some stuff here. We're gonna put, maybe the.
I'm not doing that. That's extra work. I'm just kidding. I'll do that.
Over here we got
I thought I was about to see a match right there.
I know, right? Over here we got the Rampage Wrestling episode where we interview Grayson and Mac the Franchise. Over here we're gonna have one of our wrestling sketches.
Now you're off the screen. You better just let me take care of it. Go ahead and say what you want to say. I'll point.
This general vicinity,
And
you will see some.
and next week,
items.
check out the episode where I interview by myself.
Because I fired Adrian.
Now y'all check out our stuff. We love y'all. Thank you.
Love y'all. Thank y'all.